Our first speaker then will be Vijay Prashad, and Vijay is, as most of you probably know, Executive Director of the Tricontinental, roving reporter, and many other things besides. So please go ahead, Vijay.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Radhika. He was always Comrade Che to me. We had worked together in the Cuba solidarity work. We had worked together in many international campaigns and so on. Spent a lot of good times with him in South Africa. Chris, or Comrade Che, was from the Northern Cape. Pretty terrific history in the anti-apartheid movement. He had been a student activist. He was known as Stone Thrower in his own movement because of his pretty belligerent anti-apartheid sensibility and history, fighting against that wretched regime in South Africa. When I got to know him about maybe 10, 15 years ago, the general discussions and debates were frequently around the question of the South African Communist Party, its role that it was playing in post-apartheid South Africa. The question of the alliance was always a forefront on Comrade Che's mind, to keep thinking deeply about the nature of the alliance, what it meant for not only the South African Communist Party, but also the working class and peasantry in South Africa. But Comrade Che was not only invested in the struggle in South Africa. I think it's important we don't forget that he was a key figure in the student movement against apartheid. Shouldn't forget that. But also Comrade Che was much more than his native South Africa. He was a Pan-Africanist, for instance. One of the times we spent in just outside Johannesburg talking about the Pan-African struggle, the nature of the struggle on the African continent. We were deploring the collapse of so many of the movements on the continent and the importance of rebuilding the platforms and struggles of Pan-Africanism. But more than anything else, Comrade Che was an internationalist. I mean, his name itself, Che, his role in the Friends of Cuba in South Africa, his commitment to that island, which has been attacked so, ruthlessly and wretchedly by the United States government. Comrade Che was always carrying the banner of the Cuban Revolution high aloft in the sky, beside the banner of socialist, a future socialist South Africa. These were equivalent banners for him. This was not somebody for whom internationalism was merely a kind of sentimental matter. It had a material character, a very much material character, because Comrade Che fought within his party, within the alliance in South Africa with the government, to provide real material, tangible material support for the Cuban Revolution at a time when it is struggling to survive. A most elegant and distinguished man, very much a thinking person. In fact, the book of his writings, the collection of his writings, is called Thinking Che, because he was always thinking Che. He was not one to mutter platitudes, but was interested, get beneath the surface of reality. I'm talking to you from China. In the last few years, we spent a lot of time talking about China, discussing China. Even after he began to fall ill in 2019, he was interested. What are the key developments in China? How to understand it? I used to play with him with the phrase from Deng Xiaoping, build from facts, build the correct path. What are the facts? It bothers me that in a country like South Africa, facts are irrelevant when it comes to China. It's the sort of modalities of Western hallucination, one after the other. If it's not this problem in China or in the Asian region, it's another. Jumping from one stereotype to the next. And there he was saying, well, what are the facts? I'm sorry that I can't see him in July when I'm in Johannesburg and say, hey, listen, Comrade Che, these are the facts. I was just in Beijing, in Shanghai. I'm in southern China. Look at the things I'm seeing in rural revitalization. It's a struggle, Comrade Che. It's not easy. There are so many neoliberals in China, it would make your head spin. There are more neoliberals in China than in many that make up the entire population of many countries. Makes your head spin, Comrade Che. It's not so easy. It's not a straight line to build socialism. Zigs and zags, zigs and zags. It's great to be here, friends, to remember our friend, Comrade Che, great guy. Thinking about him a lot. I'm glad that we're holding this place to reminiscence and talk about him. A very fine man, a great communist, lifting up the red flag. Red salute to my comrade, Comrade Che.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.